Welcome back. Brent oil prices jumped 1.5% to their highest since mid-2015 after the shutdown of the Forties North Sea pipeline knocked out significant supply from a market already tightening due to OPEC-led production cuts. Brent crude futures, the international benchmark for oil prices, were at $65.63 a barrel, up 94 cents from their last close. That marks the first time Brent has risen above $65 since June 2015. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $58.41 a barrel, up 42 cents from the last settlement. Britain's Forties oil pipeline, the country's largest at a capacity of 450,000 barrels per day, shut down on Monday after cracks were revealed. Well, for more on that, I'm being joined by a research analyst with financial derivatives company, Damilare Adeshola. Good afternoon, Damilare. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Chime.
Now, oil prices have crossed the $65 per barrel threshold. Is it just about Britain's Forties oil pipeline shut down, or there are other factors driving this price movement?
Well, mainly it's really just the shutdown in the pipeline. It's just, as you rightly mentioned, it's led to supply concerns, the increased tightening in the market following OPEC's decision to extend its deadline for its agreement. So all those factors combined have just led to increased supply concerns in the market, and so what this has resulted in is a push up in prices. And so we see that the pipeline supplies 40% of UK's Brent oil, and so this has just raised supply concerns again, and so that has led to the bullish movements in prices that we've been seeing in the last couple of days.
Now, is this a blip, or could this price level become the new normal?
Well, I believe it's temporary. The company that operates the pipeline, the Forties pipeline system, that is the Unions company which bought it from BP earlier in the year, the company announced on Monday that it was closing the pipeline for some repairs for a few weeks. Now, though the timeline of these weeks were not specified, but we do believe that it will just take probably about 4 to 5 weeks, possibly. And so we're looking at the reopening of the pipeline at the beginning of next year, beginning of January. And so once the pipeline is reopened, we expect the market to rebalance. And all things being equal, of course, if there's no other reemergence of some geopolitical tension or whatever, but all things being equal, we expect that market prices will retreat to November average about $62 per barrel come January 2018.
Now, in all of this, what will this mean for Nigeria as an oil-dependent economy and, of course, domestic commodities?
Well, in the interim, Nigeria is set to benefit. So from increased oil revenues, and we know that oil revenues contribute over 90% of our forex earnings, so it means that we have increased forex inflows. And so this means that the CBN has more at its disposal to intervene in the market. It could lead to a slight appreciation in the Naira, although this is unlikely given that the increased demand that comes to the festive season would push the exchanges in the opposite direction. So we expect that exchange will stay stable, but there will be increased forex liquidity, and this is positive for the domestic commodity, because we're looking at imported commodities such as rice and commodities that use imported raw materials, such as sugar, which is imported sugarcane, and flour, which is imported wheat. So we expect that those commodities will benefit from the increased forex liquidity. So generally, the impact on Nigerian economy is going to be beneficial.
Now, it appears that fuel queues have disappeared. Do you expect a re-emergence, especially if oil prices keep up the bullish trend?
Well, the primary reason for fuel scarcity that we saw last week, even it's still happening in some areas. Some petrol stations are actually not selling. As Kachiku said earlier last week, he said that it was really because of the supply gaps. And so on two fronts, looking at the increase in the Brent prices as well as the gridlock in Apapa port. So all these things have just contributed into a supply constraint. And you know that the NNPC is the sole importer of refined crude. And so the NNPC is having to bear the brunt of this increase in price because the especially given the removal of the subsidies. If you look at a year ago, when the prices were set at 145 naira per litre, the naira was trading at 199, and the oil prices were $48. Now oil prices are $65, and the naira is 305 at the official market. So on all fronts, it's more expensive, but we haven't seen an adjustment in the prices. But it's obvious that there needs to be some remodeling of the pricing templates, but we do not expect this in the short term, especially as we approach the election cycle. We expect that there might be a reintroduction of the subsidies that was previously removed, as well as some introduction of regulation in the market to keep the price at the pump price of 145. So we don't expect that the scarcity would continue in the short term, because the government is really looking to intervene in that aspect.
All right, thank you very much, Damilare. Let's just hope for the best. Enjoy the rest of the day. And in Morocco, that country has signed deals for 26 auto industry projects worth a total of 1.23 billion euros as it seeks to build its position as an international hub for the sector. The deals include 6 agreements with French company Renault to expand an industry ecosystem, allowing the firm to increase local sourcing of car components to 55%. Renault has a large factory in the northern Moroccan city of Tangiers that opened in 2012 and an older assembly plant in Casablanca. Another 13 of the new projects are planned as part of a manufacturing hub linked to a PSA Peugeot Citroën factory under the construction in Kenitra, north of the capital, Rabat. That plant is due to open in 2019 and initially produce 90,000 vehicles a year. The projects are with companies from France, Spain, Italy, China, South Korea, Japan, and the United States, and are expected to create more than 11,500 jobs. And Djibouti's economy is expected to expand by 7% in 2018, up from an estimated 6.5% this year. And government spending should also rise slightly in a budget focused on health care. Located at the southern entrance to the Red Sea of the route to the Suez Canal, Djibouti has been seeking to expand its role as a transshipment hub and export route for its landlocked neighbor, Ethiopia. It also has U.S. and French, Chinese and Japanese bases. Djibouti is expanding its port facilities to handle more bulk commodities, containers and other goods. It is also building 2 new airports to handle more tourists and cargo. This year, it opened 3 out of 4 ports aimed at boosting its position as a trading hub. And that's a wrap on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimezi Obi Iwago.